It's like, all right, everybody. Well, we did have some patch notes here. It is a 20.8.2 patch notes, which came out on July 14th. I just wanted to give my talk and basically what my feelings were on these cards. And when I looked over Apotheosis, and I saw that it was give a minion +2/+3 and lifesteal, and then it changed to give a minion +1 and +2 and lifesteal. It was a nerf that some of us expected to happen, especially I saw a tweet from Ecore, and in that tweet he was talking about how he didn't want to see this happen for this card, but it did. And one of the main reasons why Apotheosis got nerfed is because you could put it onto Samaru. And when you put it on Samaru, it can clear a board. It's kind of one of the main defenses that a priest will have against aggro. And though it can affect late game and everything, this nerf does affect priests a lot, but it still gives the minion a +2 health, so Samaru can do some effective board clears. This nerf is kind of expected, is what you would see happen. Maybe there was other cards that they could nerf, and so when we get down, we saw like the very next card that they go and nerf is Renew. It goes to 2 mana, and it still restores the 3 health, and it discovers a spell. But do you really want to run this card in your deck at 2 mana with this effect? Yes, it's okay. But I think the key part here is that Wand Maker doesn't come into play now. Wand Maker will get you a 1-cost spell. It's really, a lot of the times it will be Renew. And because you can also play Wand Maker more than once, you end up playing Renew a lot more than once. And if you discover this card and it discovers a card, you know, you're just all over the place getting Renew in your hand a lot. At 1 mana, it's a really, really very, very strong card. And I think this is a pretty hard hit to Priest to change this Renew. One reason being is because you can't use Renew at 0 mana, and you also don't get the chance to have Zorelia play it for 0 mana and it heals 3. Then you can play it with a combo for a clear there. Card generation has been just kind of a thing that really bothered people a lot about Priest, and the fact that because you get to generate so many cards, people have been saying that Priest doesn't really have that win condition. There's no clear win condition. It's just like a randomly generated win condition. I can say that you don't really face a lot of Priests on the ladder until you really get into the high legend Hearthstone. So there's a lot of people that kind of jumped on the bandwagon as far as Priest was concerned. And I looked over my stats, and I was facing anywhere between 8 to 12% of Priests on the ladder, which means that people weren't playing them as much. So it didn't really affect players that were in like the diamond ranks and also the lower tier legend, I would say. So sometimes what happens is there is a clamoring though for Priest to get nerfed. I think it should have, but I think it should have happened a long time ago. These changes that we've seen so far are just kind of not really anything that is significant. It's just kind of patching it together to just kind of keep the class in check. We have a new expansion coming in 2 weeks, so the direction of Priest will change, and this is just the start of probably more nerfs to Priest and rehashing the class and kind of putting it into a different direction. So I would expect more, but I guess this is a good start. It kind of solved that problem that I was talking about. Next up is Gibberling. Gibberling is just spell burst, summon a Gibberling. I mean, in Druid, this is a completely ridiculous thing. You guys saw, if you were watching anything on the Grandmaster's Tour, there was a game where literally a Druid dropped down Gibberling, put up an entire board on turn 1, and had lethal on turn 3. And when you have those kind of things happening, it's just not good. You're really looking at a card that in Druid just way, way, way crazy for those turn 1 plays. It's just putting up boards that are just so hard to beat. There's just no answer. So then, and it seemed like that, oh, you're thinking that it happens all too often, but it doesn't really happen that often. It's not the case with Gibberling in the Druid. It was happening because people were making it happen. There were so many cards surrounding it that you could make Gibberling put on these big, big board presence and then buff them up with something like Arbor Up. You know, there's many different ways to get this to be a thing in the class, and just really put up a huge board that kind of creates this non-game. Like, it's just, you see that there's this is it, and you're like, what do you do? It's very hard to answer. It's just way too strong. I think this is a decent change, but it does kind of kill the card. Not completely, but it kind of tones it down a bit, and you won't really see any of those things. Anyway, if you like this kind of stuff and you want me to do more, I'd be happy to do some more stuff about nerfs and put up some videos. So in the meantime, stay hype.